That has to be pretty dispiriting. But then you're like, well, I gotta be hotter to win this case.
Yeah, I gotta be is the word.
It was a rigged trial brought by Judge Kaplan, and they awarded this crazy lady $83 million in damages, compensatory and punitive damages totaling $5 million. Okay, so that's for the assault. $5 million for the assault. $83 million because you said something bad about her. That's how this is. Jean Carroll, the crazy lady who got a big fat verdict out of President Trump after Democratic operatives exploited her. Remember that she was at that party with Molly Jong-Fest, a Democrat lunatic, who then introduced her to George Conway, another Democrat lunatic lawyer. And then they got Reid Hoffman to come in here and put up hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund this lawsuit against Trump as part of a multifaceted, multi-pronged attack on him. Criminal charges, ballot removals, civil lawsuits, and sex assault claims. Now, we covered the whole trial here, read through the transcripts and debriefed it. And we commented at the time that they were really puffing up her appearance. And those of you who joined us on this, remember, we thought, what did they do? They made her look like 40 years younger. Attempted to, right? Still look a little strange and awkward. But now she's out. She's basically admitting, that they were trying to dupe the jury. They were trying to get the jury to believe this. And this was all taking place in New York. Of course, those juries are very Democratic. And this is not that unusual, honestly, to have somebody change their appearance before a trial, right? To look the part a little bit more. Happens all the time. It's just a little dishonest, especially when you've got no other evidence. And she said, we have to try to trick the jury. Amuse got this one over from Ample Lamps. Amuse said, Jean Carroll admits she tricked the jury into making herself look more effable. So content warning coming up. We'll try to, as she says it, but she's said that she's glad it worked. Tim Miller gets emotional. How much that must fuel Carolyn's feminist juices. But here is the clip, and it came over from Ample Lamps, and here is what it sounded like. He asked her this question.
That has to be pretty dispiriting. But then you're like, well, I gotta be hotter to win this case.
Yeah, I gotta be is the word. So what we did is we looked, I had a talk show, a TV talk show, 1996. I went through that, some of the shows, took screenshots of my hair cut in a bob. Then I found the hairdresser and the makeup person who made me look like that in 1996. She came every day to trial, did my hair and makeup exactly like it was in 1996. I wore the exact same clothes I wore in 1996, the exact clothes.
Yeah, they're back. It's back in trend.
Yeah, I don't have a book here, but the thing I'm wearing on the cover, I bought it at Bergdorf's in 1993. That's the kind of, and look like I looked in 96, but I looked like somebody who could have looked like somebody in 96, and it was enough. It was enough.
It was.
So it was a trick.
This trick, that doesn't make you annoyed? Your feminist juices don't start flowing over that?
Yeah, because you just hiked your boobs up. Is that what feminism is? And she just said it was a trick, right? We were tricking the jury. It's because she wasn't effable back then. Nobody wanted to F her ever because she's crazy. But this is where the conversation is going. Now, she had a victory today. We have to give her that. But we think this will be reversed. Trump has presidential immunity. This came out of the Southern District of New York. It was a rigged trial brought by Judge Kaplan, and they awarded this crazy lady $83 million in damages. And a jury found Trump acted with malice, and he made defamatory statements. He was the president. He said in June 2019, he was responding to public comments about, abusing this woman. He was the president. He's allowed to comment on those things. You can't sue him for that. Trump appeals, arguing he's entitled to presidential immunity or a new trial. Trump also contends the jury's damages award is excessive and must be remitted. And they give us a full opinion on this. It's 70 pages. Here's some background. On June 21, New York Magazine published an excerpt. 2019, Trump is still in the White House. From Jean Carroll's forthcoming book, she says that Trump abused her in a Bergdorf's in 1996. And then the date was actually, I think, kind of fluid. It changed in between the trials. Trump responded, both when he was president and again after he left office, by publicly accusing her of fabricating her allegations. So then Carroll sued Trump initially for defamation based on the words that he said as the president, initially. Later, following other developments when they changed the law, because they literally in New York changed the law, Roberta Kaplan and Kathy Hochul opened up the law to create a new claim. Carroll sued Trump for the assault in 1996. They just extended extended the statute of limitations for a private civil action, and for defamation based on statements after the term had ended. So Carroll, too, actually went first. So they're out of order. The jury said, yep, he assaulted her, Carroll, but the jury found that he did not R her. Remember, there were 2 counts. Did Trump R you in the dressing room? Did he Bergdorf you in the dressing room at Bergdorf's? No. Jury said no. They found she was not credible, right? And they said, actually, it was more of a second assault, which would use your, digital penetration, the old DJ Diddles, era. Says the jury award Carroll compensatory and punitive damages totaling $5 million. Okay, so that's for the assault. $5 million for the assault. $83 million because you said something bad about her. That's how this is. After the jury's verdict, the district court granted a partial summary judgment in Carroll 1, meaning Trump didn't even get a trial on the first in time case that started the whole thing. A jury thereafter awarded Carroll $83 million for defamation. So $5 million for getting sexually abused, $83 million for saying a woman's crazy. That's the jury. Now, the present appeal is from the judgment, and for the reasons below, they say Trump has failed to identify grounds that would warrant presidential immunity. And so they affirm the judgment of the district court, and it was basically unanimous across the board. We also remember this video too, because Apple Lamps clipped this one for us too. And he said, E. Jean's kind of just a crazy person. And here is what is going on over there.
I call it the mouse house because some very distinguished mice live here. Kahneman lives in the kitchen. Tversky lives in the bedroom. This is my shed. And on that side are the books that most influenced me growing up. On the door are the lists of my dogs. Marky, Fortuna de la Spunky, Heidi, Tits, Bloody, and Hepburn. The streams and the rivers were dry. And it so horrified me that I came out and started painting the rocks blue to indicate that there was once a river here. And then after I got done painting the rock, I just sort of walked over here and then did that tree and then did that tree and then I did this tree.
She's going to be able to paint a lot more trees if she gets that $83 million, but I don't think she's going to. I think the Supreme Court will take this one up, and we're hopeful they reverse this because it's lunacy. You can get sued for defamation if you're the president responding to some lady who is smearing your name as the president to undermine your role as the president. You can't comment on those things. Seems like that is an insane outcome. We'll see what the Supreme Court does on it, but it's a per curiam opinion, so there's no dissent on this. But 3 buckets in the immunity case from Trump's SCOTUS decision. We've got absolute immunity, presumptive immunity, and no immunity. This is at least in the outer bounds of presidential immunity. Commenting from the White House about her, the case was rigged. This woman's crazy, in my opinion. She has several times accused other people of crimes, and they got a rigged outcome in New York based on a fake law that they passed so that she could sue. We'll keep our eye on this one, my friends. We'll wait for Trump's appeal. He's already intimated to the Supreme Court it's coming soon, and so we'll keep our eye on it. When it drops, we'll have it right here. Thanks for joining and subscribing as we get it.